Welcome back to a special edition of the Daily Report. Authorities are asking neighbors within a 2-mile radius from Nancy Guthrie's home for any surveillance video taken close to the time of her disappearance. Cybersecurity expert Alex Stamos joins us now. He's the chief product officer at artificial intelligence security startup Corridor. He's also the former chief security officer at Facebook, where he built the company's first counterterrorism capability. He also founded the Stanford Internet Observatory to conduct research on AI and child safety. Thank you so much for being here. So let's get into it. Nancy had this free Google Nest plan, so the video should have been deleted within 3 to 6 hours, long after Guthrie was reported missing. People have raised privacy concerns about the way this video was resurrected, if you will. How did this work, and is this a special circumstance?
Yeah, so as we know, Nest is constantly sending video to Google. We heard that they will hold it for at least 3 to 6 hours. So that means that that video is constantly being sent to Google, is being stored on their servers, and then deleted, and probably not available under normal circumstances to Nest and Nest's law enforcement response team. In this case, they were able to go and find the video after looking for it with a really deep search. What I expect happened here is that Nest is using Google storage mechanisms, either Google Cloud or the equivalent internal mechanisms. And they had set up a mechanism to make sure that files that are deleted that were able to be recovered within something like 14 to 30 days. This is really common inside of large companies, just in case a mistake is made by software. And it probably required a real special search by Google engineers. This is not something I expect Google wants to do in every case, and require them to really deeply look into the internals of how their storage systems work. But it is really common in these big distributed file systems that stuff will last for a while after it's supposed to be deleted.
And Alex, we got a question from a YouTube user. They said, how is it even possible to not find a person for 12 days when we have cameras on every block and on every house?
Yeah, it is kind of amazing. I mean, it's true. We've got Ring cameras, Nest cameras, all kinds of cameras all over the place. We've heard a couple things. One, this isn't the densest neighborhood, right? We're not talking about lower Manhattan here, where we'd probably within hours have the FBI would have been able to track the car exactly where it's gone. I am a little surprised, to be honest, that it is a nice neighborhood, right? These are it looks like $1 million houses. So you would have thought we would have had more surveillance footage. They're probably pulling a bunch of data, right? So you've got the cameras. You also have what are called tower dumps, right? So they'll be pulling the information on all the cell phones that were in the area at the time, and then they'll be filtering out the phones that are there all the time. That would be residents and people that visit a lot and looking for folks who are not normally there. They'll be pulling with geofence warrants. So they'll be looking for IP addresses and accounts that were sending geolocation data. And again, filtering for folks who are not normal residents. So there's usually a huge amount of data that can be pulled. And it is surprising that, considering the amount of data that people leave behind in the modern world, between all of that, automatic license plate readers and such, that we have not been able to find these folks. And so that either indicates that this not very dense suburban neighborhood just happens to have had a sparsity of cameras, or people not willing to share the data, or that these people were better prepared to cover their tracks than we expected.
Excuse me, Alex Stamos, thank you so much. Officials are asking anyone who might have information to call the sheriff's number on your screen or 1-800-CALL-FBI.